Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Matt. By now, you've probably seen this camper several times in my videos, and I continue to get a ton of questions on this thing. Yes, I did build it. No, I did not have dedicated plans for this camper. I just kind of sketched out what I wanted to build and I built it. Yes, it is removable from this utility trailer. And there are a few things, actually one more. Yes, that is a Raptor liner truck bed liner. That's the exterior coating, and it is holding up really well. I'm very pleased with it so far, and yes, it is waterproof. There are a few things that if I was going to do this again that I would do differently and I would change slightly, and that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to take a walk around the camper. I'm going to show it to you one more time, and I'm going to show you a few things that I would do differently if I were going to build another one of these. Stick around. Okay, so before we take this walk around, the very first thing that I would change if I were going to do this project all over again is I would consider the weight of the overall unit a lot more during the process. So the way that I built this is I have a floor, I have the walls, I have the whole structure built. Then I have a layer of insulation in the cabin area, and I have an entire separate layer of wood or boards on the interior to kind of finish it off. Additionally, I have 4x6 skids, I call them, attached to the bottom of this pod so that they act as, just like I said, skids when it's coming on and off the trailer. As you know, treated 4x6s are pretty heavy. Additionally, when I built this thing, I intended for it to be a camper pod. I want it to be able to come on and off my utility trailer, and that works really well. The problem that I see, and it's not really a problem, you just have to deal with it, is it adds weight. And what I mean by that is building the pod itself wasn't too bad, and it's not that heavy. I just did a video on how much this entire setup weighs. If you want to check that out, check out the video that I'm going to link right here at the top if I can get that to work. But when you use a utility trailer like this that is a dedicated trailer for hauling other things, that trailer is going to be built a little heavier than if you built it onto a camper frame. I hope that makes sense. So if I were building a trailer onto the camper frame, it would be attached to all the wood structure, and it wouldn't have to have a double rail like this. I could have the trailer subframe attached directly to the camper pod subframe and the axle attached directly and all that. So I wouldn't have to have several hundred pounds of steel that are in this utility trailer. Okay, so the next two things that we're going to talk about are on the sleeping quarters of this. Actually, the next three things. When I built this, I bought these LED lights from an Amazon store, and they came in a 4-pack, and I thought, yeah, we'll just put the lights in there, we'll have a lot of light. You can't really tell right now in the daytime, but these are super, super bright, and never have we needed more than one of these on. And even with just one light on in here, it's too bright when it's dark out at nighttime. So what I did, and Michael can turn the camera and show you this light over here, I ended up taking some masking tape, and this is my temporary solution, but I added some masking tape under here, the colored kind, and I made that a light blue. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. So this is our light that we use most of the time at night when it's dark out. So what I would change here is I would really focus on what light that I got. But I definitely would not put 4 in. I would put one light with 2 brightness modes, or I would just put 2 lights, one bright one and one dim one that you could reach from both sides of the camper. While we're in here, I want to talk about this fan. I'm not sure if you can see the fan. I'll grab the camera here for a second for Mike. So if you look here, you can see that there's a vent fan in the top of here. And I put this in here so that we could get some good airflow through here. And it is a powered fan. You can turn it on. And I'll let you listen to it for a second. So that doesn't sound too loud, but when you're in here at night trying to sleep, it's actually quite loud. So that can be a pro and a con. The pro would be the sound deadening, And the con would be the fact that it's just really loud, right? So I would pay attention more to what fan. I would read some more reviews and see if I could get a quieter fan, or to be quite honest with you, we don't really use the fan that often. So I may elect to go without a fan and just have a vent here. So that's the second thing. The third thing, while I'm sitting right here, when I built this, I put 4 110 receptacles inside here. There's one in each corner of the sleeping cabin. And what I found is we only use one of those. So it would save you a little bit of effort. That's not a whole lot of money, but it would save you a little bit of effort in running wires to reduce that to 1. And additionally, I would probably suggest a receptacle that has the USB phone charger type plug built into it, so that you can plug your phones and your iPads and stuff directly into that instead of needing the adapter block. Okay, so Mike, we're going to come around the back side of the camper here. I want to show what this looks like from the back. So these teardrops or square drops, you usually have like a kitchen area in the back, and there's not a whole lot I would change here. This is very simple. I did not do any water. I didn't do any sinks. I didn't do any pressure tanks of any kind. I wanted this to be very simple. The one thing that I maybe would change is I maybe would add a third awning. You can see my 2 awnings come off the camper and they provide us a ton of shade. But you can buy a 5-foot awning that would come off right here and extend to the back and give you a little bit of covered area right here at the kitchen area. I think that would be nice. There's a possibility that I will add that to this camper just because I think that would be really nice. All right, coming down to the passenger side of the camper, I want to point out these tables that I built again. I definitely would not change this. I think they're very handy. They're just a removable, lightweight construction board with a couple of frames on here. And the only thing that I might change is maybe build the flip down table onto the exterior of the camper. I think maybe that would be handy so they didn't have to stow all these things. But what I want to talk about here is an idea that I don't maybe think I would change, but if you were building one of these from scratch and you wanted to build your own trailer, I would strongly suggest putting on a rim and tire combination that matches your tow vehicle. Most of us have a tow vehicle, whether it's a Jeep or a pickup or a van or something like that, that has a spare. Most of them, if you're going kind of off-road camping, you probably have a full-size spare. So what I'm getting at is you can eliminate taking a spare tire with you altogether if your trailer wheel and tire combination matches your tow vehicle. And I've seen folks do this and it works out pretty cool because you don't have to haul this extra however many pounds this is and work around it and all that stuff. So definitely an idea that I may incorporate into the next one. So lastly, looking at the top of the camper, what I would add, and I may add to this one, is a rack, a cargo rack. And I don't mean some in-depth, big-time, fancy, heavy-duty rack. Something to put a canoe on or some kayaks. It doesn't have to be really heavy-duty. A couple of bars that go across the top just to get your canoe or kayaks off the top of the camper, and just to have a little bit more storage to haul something long like that on top. I think that would be very handy. Definitely a possibility of me adding in the future to this camper. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys got a little bit of information about my camper pod that I built, and hopefully I answered a few questions that you've had or may or may not have had over the last year and a half since I built this. If you're interested in this series, I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, and you can watch the entire build series from start to finish, and even a few camping trips that we've taken with this. It's worked out very well for us. I urge simplicity in your build. Don't make it so hard on yourself. Anybody can build one of these. Very simple with just basic tools. There was nothing fancy here. I really enjoyed doing this project, and to be honest, I'm enjoying bringing you guys update videos as we go, and hopefully I can inspire somebody to build one and maybe make yours better than mine. So I appreciate you sticking around. That's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one.